So our story begins with our protagonist, our main man, who is called Crab. It's a funny name, but you've got to live with what you're given. And Crab is a businessman. He's a small business owner, and he has one of those shops. When you come out of a tube station and you see a shop that's like, we mend keys and also shoes. It's that kind of place. Tiny little thing. Lovely small business. Unfortunately, given a certain global situation that may or may not be occurring currently, he can't open at the moment, and he's a bit worried about it, as our Crab. And he sits in his shop and he talks to himself and he goes, oh, poor Crab, what am I gonna do? But fortunately it's all right, because the leader, the prime minister of this great nation, is coming on telly to tell us everything. And Crab watches very eagerly, and the prime minister, who may be familiar to some of you, says, so what we're saying is, don't go to work, go to work. If you can work from home, go to work. Stay outside, go inside. You can exercise as much as you like, but we'd rather you didn't. And if certain conditions are met, then we will, or not. So Crab watches this, and like many of you, like me, halfway through the speech just then, I got very confused. Poor Crab gets very confused. And he's like, I'm not going to be able to open my business anytime soon. But there's a plague on, isn't there? And you know what people want in plagues, yeah? They want medicine, they want doctors. Have I studied medicine? No, I haven't. But my sister, she's a nurse, and that's the same, isn't it? I've watched all the, I've read up on my history about previous plagues and epidemics. I can do it. That's what I'll do. So Crab gets a new sign made for the front of his shop that says, Doctor Know-All. He knows everything. And he gets himself a very big book of anatomy, big tome. Has he read it? No, he hasn't. But he's got the book. And people start coming in to ask Dr. Know-All for some cures. Okay, so you've got a headache, right? Okay, is it a kind of pulsing headache, or is it more of a sort of dull thing? Is it sharp, or is it in the front, or the... yeah. Leeches. I think leeches are the answer. Oh, whoa, what are you talking about? We haven't used leeches for years. Yes, well, but we did use them. All over the world, they were used, leeches, for hundreds and thousands of years. And you can go to the hospital for your headache if you want, but there's coronavirus there, isn't there? So leeches, I think. Yeah, all right, I'll take the leeches. And Crab becomes a doctor. He does it. He knows everything. Dr. Know-All. He embodies that role. Splinter, leeches for you. Broken heart, leeches for you. Oh, your legs come off, leeches for you. And word gets around that this guy is amazing. He knows everything. Not only does he know how to cure you, hint, leeches, but he knows all sorts of things. He knew that my brother was having an affair with his neighbour. He knew that the guy from number 14 has been going out for his exercise more than once a day. I know. Oh, what, that's allowed now? Oh, I see. Anyway, the word gets around, and eventually the Prime Minister hears about it. And the Prime Minister calls Crab to 10 Downing Street, because I've got a problem, you see. I've lost a USB thingy, and it has something on it. To cut a long story short, there may have been a vaccine, and I might have sat on it. Anyway, some incriminating evidence is on there, and I need you, Dr. Know-All, to find it, to find the USB stick. You can do that, and if you do that, I will give you a quite considerable amount of money. And Crab goes, yeah. Oh, all right, yeah, sure. I will find your USB stick. Oh, God, okay. So he goes and stays in Downing Street, and he's in his room going, oh, poor Crab, what have you got yourself into? How am I gonna find this thing? And the word gets around that none other than the Prime Minister has requested the services of Dr. Know-All, and so lots of journalists come and they knock on Crab's door in a socially distanced way, and they say, oh, can we interview you about the stuff that the Prime Minister that you're doing? And Crab goes, yeah, okay. And that evening, the Prime Minister is having a socially distanced soiree for everyone he's ever met. And he comes up to Crab and he says, Dr. Noel, how's it going? Have you made any progress with the USB thing? And Crab says, well, to be honest, I haven't had time. You see, there's been all these journalists coming to interview me, and Prime Minister goes, well, what journalist? What journalists? And Crab has to look around. He's like, well, they're here. That was the first one, that was the second one, and that was the third one. And the journalists, they see Crab and Boris having a chat. They see Crab pointing at them saying that was the first one, that was the second one. And oh shit, guys, he knows that doctor. He's figured out it was us who stole the USB stick. How do you know? Well, he pointed at me and he said that was the first one. That was the first thief. And then he pointed at you and he said he was the second one. Oh God, what are we gonna do? So they call Crab over and they're like, hello. So we know that you know that we stole the USB stick. Now, we journalists, we can get away with quite a lot, but we would get in a little bit of trouble for breaking into the Prime Minister's bedroom. So how about this? Look, you can have the USB stick back. Please don't tell anyone that we had it. Thank you so much. And Crab goes, all right, yeah, sure. Yes, and don't do it again. And then he goes up to Boris, who is sitting near the aperitifs. They come out, all sorts of things under the, those metal cloches. I think they're called cloches. Anyway, big domey things, and reveal, ooh, asparagus, beans on toast, lovely. And Boris is eating them all, and Crab goes up to him, very, very slyly, just pops the USB stick just on the floor, on the pretence of tying his shoe. And he says, Prime Minister, the USB stick, I found it. It's actually underneath your foot there. And Prime Minister goes, no, oh, so it is. It was there the whole time. You really are quite something. It's very extraordinary what you've done, Dr. Noel. Do you know, I think someone like you is exactly the kind of person that we need on our team. As I might have previously mentioned, we no longer have a vaccine, and I think you might be the right person to help us develop it. And you're so amazing. I think you're so clever that you would be able to tell me what's under the next closhy thing. I think you could guess, and if you can guess, I will put you on the team for the vaccine. You'll be famous. I'll give you knighthood. And Crab thinks, oh God, oh no, I'm going to have to come clean. I can't make a vaccine. I don't know what's under the thing. No, poor Crab. And Prime Minister goes, yes, it's Crab. That really is extraordinary. Crab. However did you know? And so he puts Crab on the team, and Crab bluffs his way to making a vaccine and saves the world. Hooray!